Welcome to Britain's Worst Driver 2003. And if you thought last year's dork drivers were appalling, you better reach for your Valium now, because the driving standards on Britain's roads are still the blithering pits. Britain's motoring morons are everywhere. Only a card-carrying plonker loses it like this on a completely deserted road. Lack of concentration caused this and this. And the vapour trail from this bloke's knackered engine leaves everybody behind blind. And here's the suicide shuffle, crawling across 3 lanes of a motorway just to make a junction. And the only explanation for this is that the driver has baked beans for brains.
I'm the Pearly King of Dulwich, and this guy is Britain's worst driver, without a doubt.
Thank you. Well, actually, he isn't. He's bad, but not nearly bad enough. And the same goes for the rest of this lot.
Proof that I've failed 13 times.
That was yellow. That was yellow.
I'm not a bad driver, I know I'm not.
What the go? Oh no. No, oh no.
If you don't crash it, it's not going fast enough.
I should have cleaned my specs, they're dirty, look.
These are just a handful of the motoring mediocrities that failed to make the grade for this year's Britain's Worst Driver. And they're everywhere. That spatially confused majority who wouldn't know a clearway sign from a cauliflower. And we brought 8 of them, the worst drivers in Britain as nominated by you, here to our secret test centre in a desperate attempt to teach them how to drive. And boy, have we got our work cut out for us this year. We've taken our erroneous 8 off the road and issued them with old bangers to bash about in. They know they're useless. And we do too, so we're going to give them some expert driving tuition and then put them through a series of very testing challenges to tease out a sliver of improvement. First of our delinquent drivers is 69-year-old Brian from Crawley.
I have a complete fear of travelling on the roads. I only have to look at the road, especially a motorway, and I think, no, I don't want to know anything about that at all.
Brian, a retired policeman, passed his test back in 1965. Things were a lot easier back then, but it still took Brian 3 attempts.
If we went out now and we drove, could you drive up to the roundabout and down the hill, the A23, and turn left?
Probably, yeah.
Doesn't sound too encouraging, but we thought we'd give it a go anyway.
Proceed.
Sitting in the back is our driving instructor, Adam Ketchell, who will be independently assessing each and every one of our contestants.
Yeah, right.
In an effort to temper his terror, Brian has the endearing habit of talking himself through every manoeuvre.
Coming up to the roundabout, ease off the power.
Not that wife and nominator Kathy takes much comfort from the running commentary.
Yes, try and keep over this side of the road if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Feeling all right?
Yeah, it's not too bad, thank you. I tend to be very slow, over-cautious, and extra careful on every move I make.
He's the type of person that the comedians would have a field day with, associating driving and pensioners.
Oh, and one other thing. Brian can fly both planes and helicopters. In 1968, he even made headlines as the only copper in London qualified to fly a chopper. But back on the ground, Brian's got big problems, especially with his feet. His triple welted brogues ride the accelerator and brake at the same time. A view from the rear shows that his brake lights are on all the time.
Basically what he's trying to do, he's trying to go and stop all at the same time.
Which can make simple reversing rather, well, complicated.
I don't want him trying to get in there, he's going to hit something.
Well, I'll give it a go, shall I?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's give it a go.
You've got lots of room behind you, by the way.
Have I?
Yeah, oh yeah, you've got about 5 foot behind you.
Don't feel bad.
Watch out, am I?
That's it, good. You've got enough room. Stop now, stop, stop, stop.
Oh.
Take it forward.
Don't say that.
The engine's still screaming as Brian comes off the brake. That's why he bolts backwards.
I think it's really a question of facing the demons and get on with it.
Brian, stop the car. Just stop it.
Next up is Carl, a 33-year-old father of 5 from Edinburgh. Now, the thing about Carl is that he has a teeny-weeny problem managing his anger.
And which way are you going? Come on! Stupid witch.
I don't know what goes through my mind. It's just some drivers annoy you.
Hello!
He has 2 personalities.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
He has his personality when he's in the house, and he has his personality when he's in the car.
Carl has declared war on everybody else on the road. He reserves robust ridicule for the overweight, all forms of public transport,
Bus drivers are the biggest pain in the backside going.
oh, and all women drivers.
Woman! Woman!
I'm alright on my driving. Everybody else has a problem with my driving.
You may think so, Carl, but we beg to differ, because when Carl gets angry, he gets dangerous. And it doesn't get much more dangerous than this, overtaking not 1 but 2 cars in the wet on a blind summit. Adam decided enough was enough, and so did our director, who closed down the shoot.
I just thought you were going to die. That's really put the wind
I had my hands.
I don't want to film anymore.
I would take for Carl have an accident. A serious accident for him to slow down.
And then there's Rita from Rio. Rita's left Rio de Janeiro behind to be with new husband Carl in Manchester.
I don't know, I'm nervous for drive. Always I drive, I think I accident. When I see a next car behind, I think, oh my God, I'm nervous. Oh my God, accident. Always I think accident.
Rita passed her Brazilian driving test at the 4th attempt. Other side of the road, please. Thank you. The law says she's free to stalk our roads on an international license. To better assess her skills, we thought we'd get her to run through a few basic maneuvers. First, reversing round a corner.
No, that's not going to work.
Then a 3-point turn.
Whoops.
And finally, a parallel park.
Put your clutch down.
Yeah.
Remember to put your clutch down.
Yeah.
That's your problem. You're not.
Yes, here.
It's not down. The engine's still
Cala a
engaged.
boca.
You're going to break my clutch doing that.
Here we have someone who's on an international licence and yet is no better than someone who's maybe had a couple of hours of driving lessons on our roads.
What on earth are you doing?
And then there's Chris, a hairdresser from Cambridgeshire. He's been nominated by his partner John.
What's up with you? What do you mean don't need to phone?
I can remember an instance we were driving and he was talking on his phone and I was watching the road and he was just drifting towards the crash barrier and he said to me, "You're going to crash in a minute." I'm like, "No, I'm not, I'm fine." So I just grabbed the phone off him and just threw it out the window. When he's driving down the road, he won't concentrate. He'll be like looking at himself in the mirror or looking at people on the footpath. And I'm usually sitting there shouting at him.
These are Chris's neighbours, Kevin and Carol, and these are his neighbours' dustbins.
He's a bit like a boy racer in reverse. The slower he goes, the more he has to concentrate, the worse he gets.
He doesn't listen to anyone. That doesn't help at all.
Well, he does listen sometimes, if they're on the mobile.
Well, yeah, but then he's not concentrating on his driving, so...
The two sort of biggest issues that he's got is he will talk on a mobile phone and he will text message, and text messages now is far more dangerous. It accounts for a lot of accidents out there, and it's the law that he tends to flout.
What's wrong with my driving? I don't really think there's a lot wrong with it. I admit I do lose concentration very easy when I'm driving.
What's that Jeep?
That failure to focus means even the simplest manoeuvre can go horribly wrong.
What? You've put a hole in the fence now.
He always seems to be looking the wrong way at the wrong time, hence the mirror going into that fence, which was his own garden fence and his own mirror.
Chris thinks he's exempt from the normal rules of the road. Because there's no traffic at this junction, he just steams through on red. And then there's this.
Sorry, I didn't realise I've just parked in disabled, haven't I? I use disabled spaces to avoid going into parking slots, basically because they're bigger and they're easier to get in and out of.
It's not big and it's not clever. During the series, we'll be putting our dim-witted drivers through some testing challenges, so if you're of a nervous disposition, look away now.
First gear, move.
See who doesn't know
More left. What was that?
After the break, we'll meet our 4 expert judges who just can't believe how desperate our drivers are. But if they think the first 4 are useless, wait till they meet the rest of them.
A hard round.
You're all right.
Can I go now? Oh, shut up!
Welcome back to Britain's Worst Driver, where even we are appalled at how hopeless our drivers, who have all been judged competent to use the roads, actually are. And if you're hoping that our final 4 are going to be better, I have to tell you, you may be disappointed.
Our 5th contestant is 60-year-old Carol from central Scotland. She's been nominated by husband Ken.
I'm gonna go. Oh, yeah.
Carol passed her test at only the 2nd attempt back in 1993. You might therefore assume she isn't such a bad driver. Think again. We asked her to do a simple 3-point turn.
Left. Stop. Turn your wheel hard to the right. That wheel. That's your wheel.
Halfway through today's session, I had to actually stop and ask to see her driver's licence. I'm well aware the researchers have done all that, but I needed to see it myself because I couldn't believe that someone could drive so badly and yet hold a full UK driver's licence.
5 minutes later, and she turned that 3-point turn into a full 20-pointer. And her lack of clutch control is, well, lacking. And Carol clearly isn't comfortable with the whole driving thing. Terror is written all over her face all of the time.
Hard round. Stop.
And the noises. She sounds like a zoo. In the end, it all gets a wee bit too much, even for Ken.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
I hope I'm not Britain's worst driver. I don't know, I could be, but I hope I'm not.
That was quite scary.
Daz is a 22-year-old builder and father of a young son. He's from Llandudno in North Wales. Daz is carrying 11 points. No surprise that they're all for speeding.
If I picked up that extra point, I'd be absolutely devastated because it's my hobby, it's what I do. It's just driving a car and it'd destroy me.
He's a lunatic, isn't he? When it comes to speed. Too fast for the conditions, and he loves taking chances.
And he doesn't even bother with a seatbelt, even when he's wringing all 200 horses from his hot Vauxhall Nova.
I've driven at 140 miles an hour. I may drive fast, but I can control my speed at the same time.
The problem with taking chances on public roads is it's not just his own life he's taking a chance with, he's risking the lives of every other road user.
Daz has been nominated by his terrified mum, Kathy.
He's speeding, he just doesn't have consideration for his passengers. I'd rather Darren drive just a bog standard Nova, where he can be a bit more sensible.
But Daz isn't big on sensible. He spent 15 grand on the car he calls Pinky, even though he'd be lucky to get 5 grand back if he sold it tomorrow. But it's not about the money, it's about respect.
2 litre 16 valve. A 2 litre 16 valve.
And the chance to show that Pinky is king of the strip.
Mum's a bit jumpy when she's in the car. She's nervous, twitchy. I'm a lot slower when she's in the car.
It's not often I get in the car with Darren, but when I do have to, on occasions, I don't feel comfortable at all.
And that's not the worst of it. Daz likes to street race. This underground meet is in a car park in Manchester.
You get a buzz off it, because you know you've got the power there, you've got the looks for the car, everyone looks. Do you want to go again?
And at the other end of the bad driving spectrum is Nikki from rural Staffordshire. Take, for example, her reversing.
It's gut-wrenching because it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm 22 years old. I'm just about to finish my degree. I'm not a stupid person. Why the hell can I not reverse around there?
Nikki's chronic lack of confidence means she'll only drive on roads close to home.
Every time I get behind the wheel of a car, I feel sick. I just don't want to hurt anyone or kill anyone. That's my major fear, really.
She drives too slowly, brakes at oncoming traffic and steers too close to the curb.
You're all right, don't worry, it doesn't hurt anything.
Nikki's dad Alan may mean well, but he's undermining her confidence by constantly telling her what to do.
Don't worry too much about that.
She obviously trusts her father implicitly, but what that means is that it's her dad driving from the passenger seat, and she's not driving the car at all, not really.
A couple of hours spent pottering along country lanes was all Nikki could take.
I'm not going to drive anymore.
You had enough?
Yeah, it's too busy around there.
Yeah. All right, then I'll take over now. You'll be all right. She's worn out and her hands are actually shaking, so she's had enough now.
And finally, we have Janice from the Potteries, who's been driving for 28 years.
Oh, Karen, what do I do?
Now, with a licence for nearly 3 decades, you'd think she'd have got the hang of it by now. Janice has been nominated by her daughter-in-law, Karen.
One word for Janice's driving, I'd say it was hopeless.
Janice is a flapper, and the more she flaps, the worse she drives.
I don't like it now, I liked it at first.
Jan, watch it, Jan.
Whoa! God, that put me right off.
She rarely betters 20 miles an hour, not ideal when you're sitting in the outside lane. And since Janice doesn't actually know her left from right, she looks to Karen to point the way.
Turn right. Right.
That way.
Oh.
Karen, incidentally, doesn't actually drive.
That's that way, John. This is left.
But if Karen's not there to help, Janice does have a cunning plan.
When I was little, right, I had a pair of green Wellingtons, and because I used to struggle with my left and my right hand, my nan put right and left on my Wellingtons. So I used to look down at my Wellingtons and knew which is my right and my left. So if I'm on my own, I'm not sure which is right and left. I can look at my feet.
Oh, and one other thing, parking.
What shall I do? Just leave them on? They're looking. The last time I did any parallel parking, I'd say, was in the early 70s, and I've avoided it ever since.
Until now, but this space is big enough for a bus.
Can't ever so close to that corner.
You're not, Jan, you're miles away. Start turning your wheel.
Which way?
This way.
Towards you? God, I hate this.
You're all right.
What shall I do? Shall I come back out?
Pathetic. And there's no other word, there's no other way of putting it, there's no gentle way of putting it. It was pathetic.
Is that all right?
And then there's our judges, hand-picked to help deconstruct our lamentable licence holders. Psychologist Linda Papadopoulos is here to help us understand what makes our drivers dire.
You're a grown woman, to take control, yeah? It's as simple as that.
Mick Nat is a motor accident investigator with 22 years as a traffic cop.
It's not just developing bad habits, they've forgotten more or less everything they were ever taught.
We've got racing driver and motoring journalist Vicky Butler-Henderson.
Absolute lack of control.
And our advanced driving instructor Adam Ketchill.
She's not ready for the roads.
Now I know what you're thinking. Getting any of these 8 to improve is going to be a miracle on the scale of loaves and fishes, but we do have an incentive. Each week, the driver who improves the most will be let back onto Britain's roads in one of these 5 prize cars.
We've got a new Jag X-Type, a couple of Minis, one old, one new, plus a smart Roadster. Oh, and this year's booby prize is an Austin Allegro.
This one's mine. So who do you reckon is worst of the worst?
But before we leave you, here's a little taste of the coming chaos that is Britain's worst driver.
Oh, sugar, 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 sugar.
Sugar, sugar, sugar.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Oh, Karen, I can't see a thing.
Put on the brake hard.
Okay, handbrake neutral gear, handbrake neutral gear.
Now you're putting in first again.
Right.
Oh, you turned it.
Come here and give me a hug.
Oh, God. Yes, yes, yes. I feel so.
What's the carb?
Oh, sorry.
Hold.
Oh, I really cocked it up this time.